Please offer our guest a seat immediately. My apologies. Some of our rocket grunts don't recognize an esteemed rocket admin like you when they see one. Please have a seat. How are you this evening? Excellent. You've been away for some time. I take it your most recent mission in the field was a success. Typical. Your reputation precedes you. I'm sure the boss will be exceedingly thrilled that you've returned victorious. Well, I'm glad to see that you've taken a bit of time out of your busy schedule to enjoy some rest and relaxation here in the VIP rocket room. Care for a game of high-limit Voltorb Flip to pass the time before you receive your next orders? Perfect. Well, as you know, this is the high-limit room exclusively for Team Rocket high-ranking members. This is high-limit Voltorb Flip, meaning no gamblers, 2 Voltorbs per standard deck, and the remaining cards are psychic energy. Are you familiar with the rules? Of course you are. You are no stranger to these more exclusive tables. Now, before we begin, can I offer you your usual? Perfect. 1876 on your cigar, if I remember correctly. Excellent. James. Thank you. We always keep a few on hand, just in case you happen to grace us with your presence. Please do enjoy. And allow me a brief cut. My pleasure. Do you need a light, or do you have your lucky lighter? I thought so. You rarely arrive empty-handed. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get down to business. What would you like your buy-in to be this evening? Of course, being a high-limit table, we have $10,000 chips, $25,000, $50,000, and the standard $100,000. 1 million. Most excellent. And would you like those chips in your usual 100,000? Excellent. Allow me 1 or 2 stacks. 2. Perfect. We have 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, and 500,000 for your first stack. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, and 400,000. 500,000 for your second stack. All right. And before I forget, your usual beverage of choice, Redbreast 12. All right. And the typical 3 rocks. Really? No rocks, dash of honey. Switching it up just a bit, are we? Impressive. James, quickly. James should be back in the briefest of moments. All right, I will get the deck shuffled just a bit more. Were you able to acquire any interesting Pokemon on your most recent excursion? Really? A Drudagon, a shiny Drudicon. Well, that is most impressive. Where did you manage to acquire such a Pokemon? Off of a trainer in Canopy Forest. You always have a knack for stumbling upon lucrative opportunities. Well, I commend you. Would you care for a cut? Excellent. Down the middle. As you wish. And let's begin. I always find that the first hand is always one of the most exhilarating, as it, in a way, sets the tone for the evening and establishes the initial luck for the game. Hopefully, it treats you kindly. And your first bet. 100,000, excellent. And where would you like your bet to be placed? Row 2, as you wish. Good luck. We have 1 energy, 2 energy, 3, and can we find a 4th? And we do. Well played, my friend, well played. 100,000 matched to your initial bet. A win on the first hand is always a good sign. I'm not surprised, as a admin with your moxie is oftentimes successful in ventures like these. Ah, James, thank you. Your drink, please do enjoy. And your next cut. Deep cut, very well. Let's begin. So are you in ASMR City for long, or just a brief stop to deposit your retrievals and acquire your next orders? I thought so. You are usually a person of focus and a business-oriented mind. Your next bet. 200,000. Excellent. And where? Column 2. Perfect. Good luck. And unfortunately, we have uncovered a Voltorb. Flashbacks to my time as a soldier out in the field when we took over the power plant. You remember? Quite the explosive operation. One moment, I am receiving a call from upstairs. Of course. They're right here. Excellent. I have received your next orders. We have received intel on a freshly hatched Pokemon of critical importance and interest to the boss. Its last known whereabouts are Salt Flat City, in the possession of a otherwise unassuming trainer. Should be an easy mark and no issue at all for a admin such as yourself. Alright, and back to the game. And your cut off the top. Not a problem. Let's begin. I can see it in your eyes already. The exhilaration of a new mission. The challenge of a rewarding retrieval. I sometimes reminisce of the old days of working out in the field, but my new assignment is equally as rewarding at times. Your next bet. 100,000. Top row. Good luck. And unfortunately, that Voltorb has shown itself again. I'm sure your luck will turn around soon, not to worry. How is that cigar? Exquisite. Can I offer you any other benefits oftentimes utilized by our VIP members? Perhaps a replacement Pokemon or a rejuvenating hyper potion for any Pokemon on your person? Alright, just let me know if you need anything at all. Complimentary, of course. And your next cut. Down the middle, as you wish. And your next bet. 200,000. Quite bold. Where would you like that? Column 3. And best of luck. We have 1 energy. 2 energy. Off to a good start. 3 energy and a Voltorb, unfortunately. My apologies. It looks as though the early game luck has not been kind to you. Perhaps a bit of an extra shuffle to reset that luck. Alright, and your cut. Down the middle. And let's see if we can turn things around for you a bit here. Alright, and your next bet. 400,000. I always appreciate a player who is not afraid to go for a big swing, even when the early luck has not been with them. I hope you are rewarded for your vigor. Column 1. And good luck. And unfortunately, that Voltorb has shown itself twice now on the final flip, which is quite unusual. Would you care for a additional buy-in, or would you like to battle back utilizing your 200,000 there. Fighting till the end. I always appreciate such a stance. Alright, a deep cut. Let's get your winning ways back on track. If you have any superstitions or practices that usually bring about good fortune, now might be the time. So, your next bet. Going for broke. Your last 200. Row 2. Best of luck. And that Voltorb has detonated your final hopes. Would you care for an additional buy-in? Of course. Would you like that second million in the same denominations of chips? Not a problem. James, why don't you bring a additional red breast 12 for our friend? We might need it this evening. On the house. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, and 500,000. All in one stack this time. 600,000, 700,000, 800,000, 900, and 1 million. Your cut? No cut. Excellent. Let's begin. A fresh start, perhaps. And your bet. Excellent. 200,000 and row 3. Best of luck. And off to a good start. 200,000. Well played, and congratulations. Always nice to see a turnaround after such rotten luck. Like I said, that first hand oftentimes indicates the direction in which the luck might swing, so hopefully that's a good sign. And your cut. No cut again. And your bets. Excellent. 200,000. Row 3. Very well, and good luck. And an additional win. Very well played. 200,000 as your winnings. I must say you are off to an excellent start. Already recouped 400,000 of your initial unfortunate $1 million loss. So we are well on our way to revitalizing that pocketbook. I'm sure a prestigious admin like you views a remedial $1 million loss as mere pocket change, so I won't insult you with too much sympathy. Your next cut. No cut. Again, I can't say I blame you. You are on quite a roll. And your bets. 200,000 again. And where would you like that bet to be placed? Row 3 again. Good luck. And I must say, row 3 looks to be your lucky row. And I can wholeheartedly say that I am quite thrilled for your impressive turnaround. Thank you, James. Your additional Redbreast 12. Perhaps a celebratory drink at this point. Alright, you are merely 400,000 away from recouping your initial loss, so let's see if we can keep this party going, for a lack of better terms. Your cut. No cut, I thought so, but always courteous to ask. Can I get you a relight on that scar, or are you taking a brief break? Not a problem. Alright, your next bet. 200,000. Alright, and going with row 2 this time. Well, I must say, 3 wins in a row is oftentimes a good place to stop. But, on the other hand, sometimes it's best to not change when so much success is headed your way, so I digress. It is oftentimes a difficult decision. Alright, a cut this time down the middle, perfect. Alright, let's see if we can bounce back. That, of course, was only our first loss of this refreshed buy-in, so not to worry. Alright, your next bet. 400,000. My. Quite a bold bet, if I do say so myself. I do hope it pays off for you. Where would you like such an expansive bet to be placed? Top row. Excellent. And good luck. Off to a good start, and just as I was beginning to breathe a sigh of relief, we, of course, witnessed the Voltorb. My apologies. Alright, your cut. No cut. Back to basics. I love it. Alright, and your next bet. All in, I must say. You do have a taste for adventure. All in, and where would you like this bet to be placed? Row 1. Well, the absolute best of luck. And look at that. Let's get that hefty payout to you. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, 600,000, 700,000, 800,000, 900, and 1 million. And just like that, we are back where it all began, with $2 million worth of chips in your possession. Well, well done. It's that sort of lack of fear for risk that I'm sure has elevated you to such a high position within our organization. A cut, of course. And your bet. 200. Very well. And column 3. As you wish. Good luck. And unfortunately, that Voltorb has struck again. Not to worry. The high that you are riding after a $1 million winning bet can't be extinguished by such a measly loss of $200,000. Alright, a cut. A bit off the top. Not to worry. All right, and your bet. Of course, 300. And where would you like your $300,000 bet to be placed? Row 1, very well. Good luck. And there we are. Congratulations and well played. We have 300. Back to you. And care for a cut, of course. And your bet. 500,000. We have 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. Where would you like that bet to be placed? Excellent. Row 2. Good luck. And $1,000 winning hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Congratulations, my friend. How do you feel? I thought so. The expression on your face says it all. And I can say that I'm quite thrilled to be the dealer of such a lucrative night. Always reflects well on a dealer's ability to navigate the hills and valleys of the wins and losses and maintain a fun and relaxing atmosphere for the player. And of course, I take pride in serving such a high-ranking member of our society. Of course, an additional drink. James, please. Would you like the bottle? Of course, on the house. James, the full bottle, please. With a night as wonderful as this one, I can't blame you for celebrating a victorious mission, a challenging set of new orders, and a healthy amount of winning. What could be better? And care for a cut. Excellent. A deep cut. And your bet. 200. Very well. And column 2. Good luck. And as we've grown very accustomed to another winning hand. Very well done indeed. What's that? Of course, we can go ahead and cash you out if you wish. James, go ahead and have Jesse pull a car around front for our esteemed guest. Of course, you can take that bottle with you. We will get you safely home. We have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and 1 million. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and 2 million. And a profit of 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, and $800,000 worth of profit. Congratulations, my friend. You have most certainly earned it with your recent performance. And I do thank you for giving me the honor of sitting at my table tonight. I hope your newest mission is as successful as your typical excursion. Excellent. And please do take care this evening and enjoy the rest of your night. Excellent.